Hello friends, it's Kristie Marcotte. In today's video, I'll be using some new items from Spellbinders' Stylish Ovals release. The first item is the stamp set called Fill My Heart's Sentiments. It has a beautiful floral image and several sentiments. Next is a die set called Essential Stylish Ovals. There are 16 dies included, so you have a nice variety of sizes. And this shape of oval works perfectly with the rest of the Stylish Ovals release. This die is one of my favorites from the collection. It's called Infinity Punch and Pierce Plate. It's one die, but it'll cut out 3 different pieces and it adds beautiful pierce detail all over the background. The final set I have is called Stylish Oval Thanks. This is a hot foil plate and coordinating die to go around the sentiment. There are several other items that are part of this collection, and I will have a link in the description box if you want to check those out. I also have a couple of die sets that are new to Spellbinders. I have the Everlasting Squares and Everlasting Circles. Each set has 16 dies, so you'll have a really nice variety of sizes. I have several cards to share with you using the new Stylish Ovals collection. I've already done all the hot foiling and I used a variety of different Glimmer foils. 2 of them are variety packs. I believe the first one is called Spellbound, the second is Satin Pastels, and the final pack of Glimmer foil is called Opaque Black and White. This works really nicely on craft cardstock. So let's go ahead and get started with card design number 1. For all of my cards in this video, I use the Infinity Punch and Pierce Plate. For this card, I'm using the background piece and I cut it out from some magenta colored cardstock. This is really old cardstock I've had in my craft room for probably over 15 years. It has this really pretty blue on the back side. I'm using Barely Art glue covering the whole background. Then I'll adhere this piece onto some black pearlescent cardstock. Put some ATG tape on the back and add my card front onto a card base. All of my cards in this video are American Standard A2 size, 4¼ inches by 5½ inches. To fill in the opening, I cut out a smaller oval and I'll adhere that in place with some glue. Now I'll put glue on the back of this beautiful floral image and adhere it to my card. I love that it has the same image on the top and bottom. The hot foil set also includes the sentiment thanks, and it has a coordinating die that adds the pierce detail around the sentiment. I'll put glue on the back and adhere the sentiment to the center of my card. I'll be donating this entire set of cards to my church. They recently sent me a request for sympathy, thank you, and also blank cards. So I am leaving the cards nice and flat, but with all that beautiful detail from the die and the hot foil, I don't think it needs anything else. For this next card, I'm doing the same design, but this time I left in all those little cutout pieces. I put some double-sided adhesive tape on the back to make sure none of those tiny pieces came out. I'll remove the release paper and adhere my die cut frame onto a card base. Then I'll fill in that cutout area with an oval die cut, add my beautiful hot foil piece. For this card, I used one of the Satin Pastel Glimmer foils. It has a beautiful softness to it. I used the same foil for the sentiment and I'll adhere that onto the card using some glue. Another very simple design, but it has beautiful detail from the die cut and also the Glimmer foil. When I was prepping the cards, I wasn't sure what cardstock colors or Glimmer foil I wanted to use. So while I had my machine nice and hot, I hot foiled several different pieces. Then I dug through my cardstock stash and selected several different colors. I mixed and matched them together and ended up with a total of 11 cards using this design. I think the magenta, teal, black, craft, and white all look really pretty together. And for all but one card, I added the sentiment thanks. For the final card, I used one of the sentiment stamps and added with sympathy in the center. I like how there's an opening in the center of the image, so you could add a sentiment. You could also leave a sentiment off if you need some blank cards. And even though it is a floral design with a couple of butterflies, I think it still works well for masculine or feminine cards. And if you love to color, I think this would be a fun image. Now moving on to card design number 2. I cut out one of the Essential Stylish ovals, and I have my mini MISTI. I'll be stamping the beautiful floral image onto that oval. The ink color is by Hero Arts. This is their Ombre Hydrangea ink pad. And I did ink it up a couple times to get a good solid impression. I've already adhered some magenta cardstock on the back side of a black pearlescent frame. I'll put some ATG tape on the back and add my card front onto a card base. For this card, I'll also be using the second portion of the infinity die. I cut it out from some magenta colored cardstock. I'll put glue on the back and adhere my floral image inside that oval. Next, I'll add this piece to my card. And since this piece does have the white cardstock on the back, it does add just a tiny bit of dimension. I've already stamped out the sentiment thank you, and I used the smallest size die cut from the Essential Stylish ovals. I'll put glue on the back and adhere it underneath the beautiful floral image. So there is my finished card, and this time I made a total of 5. 3 of them I left the sentiment off since my church does want some blank cards. And the ink color I used for 2 of the cards is the Ombre Tide Pool to Navy ink color. I didn't do any hot foiling for this set of cards, but using the pearlescent cardstock for the background adds a beautiful finish. Now moving on to card design number 3. I have a piece of craft cardstock for the background. I cut this down to 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. For a little extra detail, I'm adding some Love from Lizzie peel-offs at the bottom of this panel. This is the Silver Moondust color in the pinstripe style. I'm using the widest and also the medium width. The Moondust color has a beautiful shimmery finish. I'll use my scissors to trim off the extra. Layer this piece on some black pearlescent cardstock. Put ATG tape on the back and add my card front onto a card base. Using the Infinity Punch and Pierce plate on all my other cards, I ended up with that smaller oval frame and the inside piece with the flower design. So I really wanted to find a card design to use up some of those extra pieces. I'll be adding 3 of those very inside pieces, 1 in magenta, 1 in teal, and the very center is black pearlescent. From some white cardstock, I cut out a smaller oval die cut, and I'll adhere it to the back side. That way all those little openings don't have the craft behind it, instead they have white. I'll adhere those 2 pieces together using some glue, and I am placing an acrylic block on top for some added weight while that glue dries. Now I'll add all 3 of the ovals to my card. The black will be in the center. I'll add the magenta oval on the left and the teal oval on the right. I did first place all of the ovals on my card without adhesive, that way I can get the placement correct. I do have some thin foam dimension on the back of the black oval. I'll remove the release paper and adhere it in the center of my card. For a sentiment, I've already stamped out Happy Birthday. I'll cut a fishtail on both sides. And this sentiment is part of Spellbinders' Fill My Heart Sentiment stamp set. This is a great stamp set. It has a really good variety of sentiments that you can use year-round. After cutting a fishtail on both ends, I'll adhere it to the center of the card. Before adhering it down, I will add some foam dimension just on the right and left side. Then I'll put glue in the center and adhere it in place. This is another card design where I decided to leave off any extra embellishments. I do have some foam dimension, but it's very thin, so it'll be easy to mail without paying any additional postage. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. I mentioned at the beginning of the video that all of the cards are going to my church, but at that point I forgot I made 2 birthday cards. The 2 birthday cards will be going to a local charity. They like to give birthday cards to all their volunteers. Now here's another look at the 18 cards I made using Spellbinders' brand new Stylish Ovals collection. This is a really fun collection, lots of great products. If you are interested in any of the items I used in this video, I do have links provided in the description box below. And there are several other items that are part of this collection. More dies, glimmer plates, even an embossing folder. and I do have a link for the entire release in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.